All right. My name's Keith Peeler. I am the Director of Alumni Relations at Husson. I've been here just a little over 2 years, and a good portion of my role is putting on events for our alumni, and typically those are face-to-face. And with all the changes that are happening around the state and the country, we're not able to do that. So we've shifted gears a little bit, and we're doing some things online. So this is our fourth Zoom event of the fall. So I welcome Diann and Frank and members of this year's softball team to the panel tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. And tonight we're just kind of having a conversation. I sent some questions out to you folks beforehand, and we'll just kind of do a back and forth question and answer. And audience members, welcome. We have some parents and alumni on the line here. If you have questions as we go on, feel free to put those right in the chat button, or you can save them from the end and just shout them out when we're all done. We're happy to answer those. We had a couple come in prior to the event, so we'll do that as well. We're recording these because finally, Frank and Diann, the alumni YouTube page is up and running. So I will get that link out to you folks, and we're recording these so that you can share these with others in the future for all these events that we have. So far, we've done field hockey, baseball, and football. So this makes number 4. So let's start with introductions. And Dan, why don't you start with you and tell us a little bit about your career, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Keith. My time here really started in 2009 when I transferred here to be a student athlete. And then I began my career coaching here in 2018 when I took over the softball program.
Excellent, excellent. And Frank, how about yourself? A little bit about your time. You've had a similar role in several other schools prior to landing at Husson, and tell us a little bit about your adventures there and your time at Husson here.
Well, I will tell you, I'm way older than Diann. Husson is my 5th collegiate athletic director job. I've been here since October 1st, 2013. So I just had my 7th year anniversary, and just love being part of the Husson family.
Excellent. Thank you, Frank. And students, you just came out of a practice, I heard, is that correct? So full day of classes, right to practice, right to Zoom event. So at some point you'll have dinner and some rest, I assume. So thank you for spending some time with us tonight and just kind of sharing a little bit about your team and whatnot. So why don't we just go right down the line there and introduce yourselves, what major you're going for here in school, how long you've been on the team, things like that.
So I'm Jen Jones. This is my 5th year on the Husson softball team, and I'm in the PT program.
Great.
You can't see who's talking.
I'm Morgan Coleman. This is also my 5th year on the team, and I'm in the occupational therapy program.
Hi, I'm Whitney Bess. I am a 3rd year on the Husson softball team, and I am in the accounting/MBA program.
Great.
Madelyn Fowler. I'm a 4th year in the hospitality and tourism management program.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. So we're going to start going around with some questions here. And Dan, we'll start with you. What types of things is your team working on to stay physically and mentally in shape this semester? Knowing that the next 6 or 8 months are still kind of a question mark. What are you folks doing to kind of prepare for that?
Physically, we're focusing on our foundation, establishing or reestablishing where we are in the field. So we did a little bit of an evaluation period. With so much time lost in the spring, we wanted to see, okay, well, where are we at? And where do we go from here based on where we're at right now? We're spending a lot of time in the weight room, strength and conditioning. And then mentally, it's really about just enjoying the opportunity to get back on the field and enjoying each other together on the field and establishing our unit, working together as a unit.
Excellent, excellent. Students, we have a couple 5th year students here, upperclassmen here. What does it mean to you to be further along in the softball program? Is there mentoring involved? Tell us a little bit about that opportunity there.
I can start. Okay. I just am really thankful for just another shot at another season. And I mean, it's always exciting when you get a new group of freshmen. And this year we got quite a few freshmen, and it just kind of expands the amount of people you get to meet and become part of your family. So it's kind of cool to get another year.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. It's really exciting to be able to be back for another year. We weren't really sure if we were going to get to come back, so I'm just super thankful to be here. And these two are just as much leaders on the field too. So I think it's just all about being able to be a family and really help each other out on and off the field. So
Awesome. Thank you. Frank, you just finished up year 7, you said, right? What's one of your more memorable moments of the softball team over the years since you've been here?
Well, I'll offer you 2
Great.
moments. The first would have been not this past spring, but the spring prior, and we were hosting the conference tournament. Lost our first game, so we're immediately in the losers bracket. And Jen Jones took over and wasn't gonna let us not be fail. So we came back and won that conference tournament and got a berth to the NCAA championship, and so that's one memory I have of Jen just taking over the team and telling everybody else, get out of my way. I'm going to take care of this. The other is this Morgan Coleman. This was would have been 1 spring ago. This was we were in the conference championship. We were the number 2 seed, but we were at Thomas, actually at Colby. Thomas was hosting at Colby. And I wasn't there, so I didn't see this in person. I saw it on video because we were hosting baseball at the same time. But Morgan Coleman hit a grand slam, I think bottom of the 5th, something like that, bottom of the 4th. And we were all in the press box at the baseball stadium, and everybody that was in the press box, who of course are all Husson people, just screamed with excitement that Morgan had just hit a grand slam home run and we were going to win this championship. And everybody in the stands turned around and looked at us like, what the heck are they doing up there? So those are 2 really special memories that I'll never forget.
That's awesome. Diann, same question to you. Some memorable moments for you.
I think that definitely mirrors Frank a little bit. That NAC championship game against Thomas is definitely one of the most memorable moments for me. It was amazing to see. Not only defensively, they played flawlessly behind Jen Jones, who pitched a perfect game, but we offensively just dominated to win. Morgan hitting her grand slam, putting up runs, scoring when we needed to win 8-0 in 5 innings in a championship game. It was probably the most memorable moment for me.
Wow, that's terrific. Yeah. Students, I kind of joked earlier when we started this. My question for you is, as student athletes, coming from someone who was not a student athlete, how do you juggle all that you need to juggle? I mean, you have your classes, team practices, meetings, games, personal responsibilities, friends, family. How do you juggle it all and get through it all? Because you have so much on your plate right now.
I'll go. So my planner is absolutely my life. If I ever lost it, then I would be nothing. So definitely using my time wisely, using my planner, making sure all my assignments are in order, but also just making sure that school is one thing and softball is another, and just making sure that I can balance both.
Yeah, to piggyback off of what Whitney said, I would say my desk calendar is what I live off of. I have a huge desk calendar in my room, and I have to write everything down. But I personally thrive on being really busy and having my time scheduled and designated times to do my homework and to relax and to go out with friends and to have work and softball. So just filling my time and being productive really works for me, having all that written down.
Yeah, I would agree with Maddie and Whitney. Actually, I keep a planner too. If I lost my planner, it would be the end of the world. But I think that softball actually helps keep me on track because you have to be able to have your homework done and then go to practice. After practice, like I really don't want to do anything. So that keeps me on track of getting my work done, going to practice, and then being able to just go home and do nothing. So I think it helps keep me on track.
Yeah, I don't keep a planner. But I do agree with what Whitney says. When I'm in practice, not thinking about anything else. When I'm in school, not thinking about practice. And just keeping different parts of my life separate and being focused on one thing at a time is really what keeps me on track.
So excellent. So you've mentioned, several of you mentioned kind of compartmentalizing and focusing on one thing at a time. Is that a skill you brought with you from grammar school and high school, or is that something you kind of adapted into as you got into college, being able to really focus where you need to focus when you need to do it?
I definitely think I didn't learn it until college. Freshman year, getting thrown into it, you really either get it or you don't. And a lot of people get it and a lot of people don't. But, yeah, you have to learn how to do it or else you're not going to be able to do it.
I agree with Jen. I definitely wouldn't say I learned these things in high school. I mean, I got by in high school, but college is definitely a different animal and have a lot more going on, a lot more you want to do socially, and figuring it out early and then being able to add on work and social life and stuff. I learned in college, and softball definitely helped with holding me accountable because it is much like work where coach is like a boss and you need to be able to give her notice when you're not going to be able to make practice or when you're going to be late, and you need to be on top of your stuff and be able to see into the next week and the week after and plan ahead. So having a coach that holds me accountable has really helped me a lot.
Excellent, excellent.
I would say that I brought it from high school. I have been OCD basically my entire life. I am a perfectionist, so I definitely have been like that through my entire life, but it definitely amplified when I got to college because it's a much harder workload.
Yeah, sure.
No, I definitely learned it in college. I did not come in. Coach really helps too. She makes the freshmen have like required study hall hours. And so for me, freshman year, that helped keep me on track with like when I would get my homework done versus when I was going to be at practice and in class. So I think those study hall hours really help freshman year to get you on track.
Yeah. Excellent. So systems in place on and off the field, it sounds like. So excellent. Diann, what makes Husson sports special for you?
I think collectively the competitive culture, and the winning culture is a bonus to a family that you develop while you're here. Everybody's so supportive. They have your back no matter what. Even as you graduate and you move on, the bond that you create with people during your time here, that extends, and it's because of how much you share together here.
Excellent. Frank, as director of athletics at several schools, what makes Husson a little different? What makes them special to you?
Just a really distinctive and special group of people that are very supportive of everything that we try to do in athletics. It'd be hard to replicate a university that has the characteristics that Husson does.
Nice. So students, semesters looks a little different this year, obviously. Thanksgiving break will come along. You'll finish off the semester back at home and online and whatnot for many of you anyway. With that in mind and not being on campus as many days as you would have been traditionally, what are some goals you have for yourselves as individuals this fall and maybe for the team as well?
For the team, I know that because we brought out so many new underclassmen, freshmen, bonding is a big thing that we want to accomplish this fall and bring into the spring. We want to hit this spring season with the same momentum that we had last spring. We don't want to lose any of that. And our team last year was just amazing in terms of being bonded and the cohesion. And we really want to try and replicate that as much as possible this spring and hit preseason with that same momentum. So hopefully we can accomplish that this fall.
I also think just keeping ourselves and our teammates accountable with workouts, because we're all going to get sent home with workouts between Thanksgiving and and I think just like making challenges and making it fun for each other to keep each other going so we come back hopefully in the best shape of our lives.
Excellent. Go ahead.
That's okay. I was just going to say I agreed with what Jen and Maddie had to say. Staying in shape and staying bonded, even though we're not going to be able to be together. I have pretty high hopes for this group.
So you've mentioned, several of you have mentioned, and this has actually come up several times in previous Zoom events with our athletic teams this fall, the bonding and cohesion between the teammates. And not only is it a thing, but it's a priority from what I'm hearing from the students. Would you say if you played in high school, I'm assuming most of you did, if you played in high school, did you feel that same sense of bonding and cohesion and that being a priority as you do here at Husson, or has that changed, do you think?
Well, Jen and I actually played together in high school, so I think she'll agree with what I have to say. No, there was no cohesion. Nobody really, there were the people that wanted to be there versus the people that were just there because their friends were playing. So I think in college I've seen a lot different of everyone wants to be here, everyone wants to win. So I think that helps bring the team together even closer and just spend so much time together that you really learn to be a family and support each other and be there. So
we bond over having the same goal, and we're all working towards the same thing. I had a thought and it left.
It's okay. It's not like you've had a long day or anything. It's okay. It's fine.
I'll come back.
I guess I would agree. My high school team could never really compare to the college level that we have here and the type of cohesion that we have here. I feel Husson softball since the beginning for me has just every year I feel like it's the best team that I've ever been on talent-wise. So I think that a lot of the cohesion comes from our ability to be able to push each other on the field, that competitive spark between players that's friendly but also really heated, and it really makes us better as a team and helps us all grow together to be able to challenge each other like that, skill-wise, and to still be able to be buddy-buddy after a really hard competition or hard practice. So I think that's really special about this group too.
For me, my high school experience was a little different than what I hear from you guys. So my high school team was really bonded on the field. We definitely all had each other's backs. We all wanted to win, and we all put in the work to do that, and we did that. But it doesn't compare to Husson in the fact that we are friends. We have each other's back on the field, but we also are hanging out, doing homework together, studying together off the field too.
Excellent. Dan, I don't have a crystal ball, but I'd like to say that you guys would be able to play day one in the springs as you'd like to. Where do you want the team to be before game one of the spring?
I want the team to have the strongest foundation that we've ever had before. There's a lot of adversity that we've faced over the last year, and I think that adversity is going to, especially as we get through it and we come together as a unit, not only on the field but off of the field, we're really going to have that solid foundation that we're looking for. Because once we have that solid foundation on and off the field, we're going to see success be easier for us. It's going to become more of a flow and more natural for us. So realistically, at the end of fall, heading straight into the spring, we want to have that physical skill as well as that mental cohesion foundation to just hit the ground running and get started.
Yeah, like there was no break there at all. Excellent, excellent. Frank, any goals that you have for the softball team going into the spring or at the athletics teams in general?
No, I just want these young ladies to be able to be as successful as they possibly can be, so that they reach their potential and they are able to grow and celebrate and have a great experience and be as good as they possibly can be.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's jump into a couple questions that came in prior to starting this evening. They came in from some of our audience members. This one is to Coach Ramsey. Having been a Husson student athlete, what's something you feel you learned or experienced and you brought to your coaching role? We'll go with that. We'll do that part first.
I think I've learned multiple things, not only with softball related, but as well as off of the field that I brought to coaching. Specifically, I'd say in softball, the details of the game, the small details that really make a difference in terms of, taking advantage of every opportunity we can on the base path, for example. So the little details of the game, bringing them into teaching that to them. And then really that culture, I think that as a student athlete coming from a successful program and it stayed successful throughout the years, that I wasn't here when I came back. I wanted to really make sure that I gave them that culture, that never left. I think off the field, I try to teach the kids organization, time management, making sure that, if they're struggling to get homework done or to be organized with something, I think I'm a very organized person. So I try to teach them those skills to make sure that they have their structure.
I see some heads nodding there on the camera when you say you're organized. So excellent. I have another student question for students, but Diann, there's one more here for you first.
Okay.
If you commit, and Diann and Frank, if you commit for softball, are you able to play other sports as well?
Yes.
Okay. Terrific.
Yeah, sometimes the timing is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't play, for example, you couldn't play women's lacrosse and softball at the same time because those seasons overlap each other.
Sure.
But I think we have a student right now who's on the women's soccer team who will also play softball.
Excellent.
Yes. And a couple field hockey players that also play softball as well.
Terrific. Okay. And players, this question is to you. This came in prior to our event tonight. You touched on it a little bit earlier, but if you want to add on to that at all, how do you support each other on and off the field at Husson?
Showing up, I think, is really important. We have attendance policies at practice and being 15 minutes early. And I think that we do a really good job of holding each other accountable for that, making sure that everybody is going to be at practice and going to be there at the time that they should be. And, when everybody is showing up consistently, showing up and working hard, we learn to trust each other. And
Great. Thank you so much. Anything else to add? Do you have some jump in?
We also have a couple players on our team that play two sports, and when they have games, we all show up and cheer them on and have a fun time on the sidelines.
That's great, but again, that's one more thing you're adding to your calendar too. So to be able to do all that you need to do for you, but also show up, like you said, and support them during off times. That's just, it speaks to your characters as students and athletes. So that's terrific. That's terrific. Audience members, before we wrap up, do you have any additional questions for our panelists this evening? All right. I think we're good. Well, this is being recorded, so we'll save this to our YouTube page in the next few weeks here. And thank you to Diann and Frank and all four of you students. I really appreciate you finding some time this evening to chat with us. Thank you to our audience members for joining us this evening as well. And we're looking forward to doing some more of these in the future as the seasons go on. So thank you again. And we had a thank you come in through the chat there. to everybody. So thank you again. Have a great night. Have a great rest of your semester, students, and take care.
Thank you.